Minnie Belle, who seemed doomed to be an old maid, but found love when she was swooped up by a cotton farmer, 25 years her senior. Come along for the adventures of life on the farm way back when, and the makings of a man who would one day marry me. The similarities I have discovered looking back at the ones who went before bring magic to my ordinary days. This was them, this is us. Minnie Belle. I never knew Minnie Belle, but it sure feels like I did. There is a connection. After all, she was Mrs. Green long before I was. I've heard her tales told, and without her, I wouldn't have our story to tell. I've heard tell that Minnie was a no-nonsense, frugal, hard-working woman with a formidable personality and seemed doomed to be an old maid. But to her surprise, she was swooped up by a farmer, Mr. James Green, a man 25 years her senior. Love can bloom in the most unexpected way at a time you least expect it. James Green and his wife Minnie grew their family in a clapboard farmhouse nestled in a grove of trees in the middle of their sprawling farm. It stood firm on piles of river rock cornerstones. There was no mowing their yard. Instead, it was swept with a stiff broom. Even if a green blade of grass managed to poke through, it didn't last long in the smothering summers of Aiken, South Carolina, where the gnats swarmed so thick you could whack 'em with a stick. The only pops of color in that sandy yard came from a lineup of hot pepper plants growing along the front, mingled with buttery yellow calendulas. Clumps of aromatic garlic leeks stood tall beside the front steps. Looking ahead, decades later, while family was visiting the old home place on the farm, a clump of sharp green blades were discovered by the dilapidated steps. The round seed heads bobbed in the breeze. The house had long since been left alone to wind and weather, and only bore a semblance of the refuge it once was. But the leeks still stood strong. The fat bulbs, thick with earth, were dug, packed into a paper sack, and lovingly brought to me. These same leeks from Roger's roots, from his Granny Green's farmhouse, now grow tall in our own family herb garden. TTFN. Stay tuned for the next episode, coming soon. See you later.